We're driving cars on a Mars tonight. We're blasting off to the stars tonight. We wanna go, go. We wanna go, go.
What's up, y'all? My name's Jesse with Greatt Builds, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to build a modern bench just out of 2x4s. I like to start off by getting all the main cuts out of the way first, so you'll want to grab your 2x4s and cut out 14 pieces at 16 inches and cut out 7 boards at 70 inches. If you need this bench to fit in a specific area, this measurement will be the final width of the bench, so you can adjust this pretty much to any width you would need, but I would suggest not to exceed 6 feet without adding a center support leg as well. You will also need to cut out 12 1x4 boards at 19.5 inches and place them in between each 2x4 leg piece. All of these cuts are pretty repetitive, so to be more efficient, you can either use a stop block or just use the previous piece to cut out your next one and line it up easily. Now that all of your cuts are done, let's get these legs put together. To start out, you will grab a 16-inch 2x4 and lay a 1x4 right on top of that, making sure the bottoms are perfectly lined up and nailing them together with a brad nailer. For this step, you are welcome to use wood glue in between each board for added strength, but I wanted to use as little material as possible just to make this bench. After placing about 6 to 8 brad nails in the 1x4, grab another 2x4 and drill 2 pilot holes into it. Then drill 2 2.5-inch screws to attach this board to the 1x4. Now you'll just repeat this process until you've used 7 2x4 boards and 6 1x4 boards with the 16-inch 2x4 boards on each end. For my 1x4 boards, I just use furring strips as this is just going to be an outdoor bench for me, but if you like a more smooth look, you can use the much nicer premium boards of 1x4s at your local hardware store. When drilling your pilot holes in the 2x4 boards, be sure to move them slightly around so that your screw does not hit the next screw that you just screwed in. Now just repeat this process for the second leg support, making sure to keep the bottoms lined up and offsetting those pilot holes. Now that both legs are done, I wanted to get all the rough edges knocked down, so I grabbed my sander with 120 grit sandpaper and hit all the edges to make them smoothed out. Once the legs are sanded to your liking, we can get the seat portion put together. First, start out by setting each leg up, making sure that they are set apart the distance that you chose for your seat width. The distance I chose was 70 inches, so I measured 70 inches from either end and lined up my seat legs that way. Once the legs are lined up, grab your first 2x4 board and place it on the front portion of the legs. Now grab your drill and put 2 screws on each end and screw it into that first 1x4 board. Be sure to only use up to 1 3/4 inch screws so that it won't go all the way through the 1x4 board. You could also wait to attach these screws before placing your second board and use 3-inch screws to screw in all the way through your first and second 2x4 board. After your first or second 2x4 board is installed, grab the next one and place it into the next slot and brad nail it onto each end of the board. Be sure to angle your brad nails into the next 1x4 just so that it sinks in well. Now just repeat this process until all the slots are filled up into the last board, and you'll do the same thing you did on the first board and screw in that final 2x4 board into that 1x4 slat. Since I had some extra 1x4 scraps, I decided to put some strips on either end of my bench just to add a little bit more design to it. One last piece I decided to add was a center support bracket just to keep the 2x4 slats from moving around and keep them a little bit more rigid, but this is completely optional. After I placed those last two boards, I decided to hit it one last time with the sander just to be sure that there were no more rough edges, and after that my bench was complete. I really appreciate you watching this video, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and liking this video, as I will be uploading a lot more fun beginner DIY videos as well as a bunch more reviews. Thanks again for watching, take care!
We're driving